What up, what up? This is Coach Liebs, and welcome to episode 36 of Coach Talk. It's Tuesday, first full day of the bye week for us at Bosco. If you listened yesterday, I mentioned that we beat Paramus Catholic last weekend, and finishing as the number 4 seed for the state playoffs, we earned a first-round bye. So we're off this week, and then we will play Del Barton at home next Friday or Saturday, which will be, I think, November 9th or 10th. I'm not sure we know yet whether it's going to be on Friday or Saturday. Depends on some things, other games that happen around the state. But pretty cool for us. Definitely really exciting, especially coming off a 2-8 season last year. We've definitely shown a lot of improvement, definitely become a lot tougher. We started paying better attention to detail. We've built a better culture on the team. I think our increased success this year is reflective of the efforts of everybody in the program. And like I mentioned yesterday, we're 4 points away from having a 7-2 season and really feeling great about the work we put in. And I think that it's a gift and a curse. I think obviously, as players and coaches, you wish you were 7-2. You wish that you had even more home field advantage and that you had an even higher seed going into the playoffs. But for me, thinking about it right now, I think it's kind of good to take that humble pie and to come in a little bit as underdogs, to come in with a chip on our shoulder and know that, we're really 4 points away from making a run at this thing and winning every game left on our schedule. So it's definitely exciting for us. Before I get into kind of more of the playoff talk, a few Sideline Hustle announcements. First of all, the press release challenge will be on our Instagram story tomorrow on Wednesday. It's been an insane amount of submissions. The press release video that I put out on Twitter got like 50,000 views on Twitter, and then it has like 130,000 views on Instagram, which was our most watched video ever on Instagram. Was this video promoting the press release challenge. So the DMs have been flooded with submissions. Usually I put just about everybody up as a nominee to try to just highlight everyone who took the time to send in whatever challenge it is. But this week I'm going to have to really go through it and really select some nominees and probably pick the top 10 or 15 so that the Instagram story is not flooded with 150 submissions or whatever it is that we've gotten. We've had a ton. So there's that. And then if you guys saw today, there's a really cool post that I put together on hand combat. And I had a couple clips of some boxers on there and compared wide receivers to counter punchers when trying to beat press coverage at the line of scrimmage. And I think it's a really effective analogy, something that I haven't talked about nearly enough, something that I got from Anthony Campanelli, who obviously I've talked about a lot on here. He's a defensive coordinator at Boston College, was the receivers coach at Rutgers when I was there. But just thinking of yourself as a counterpuncher and that, you don't I do talk all the time about how it's a fist fight at the line of scrimmage, but you're not just coming out throwing haymakers. You want to try to move the DB with your feet first. First and foremost, you got to win with your feet. You can't rely on your hands too much. Move the DB with your feet first, but eventually, if you beat him with your feet and you move him, he's going to respond by shooting his hands and trying to get hands on you, and that's when you want to be a counterpuncher. He throws a one-hand jam, beat him with a swat rip or a swat punch. If he throws a two-hand jam, you want tight wipers with your fingertips to the sky, kind of wipe his hands down and then rip through. You kind of have a plan, but you're countering to him. And generally, when a DB shoots his hands, he's going to stop his feet at that time as well. Only the best DBs are able to keep their feet moving and stay active from the waist down while also punching you in the face with their hands. So usually when they shoot their hands, they stop their feet, and that's a huge opportunity for receivers to win if you can get their hands off right away. So just a pretty cool clip. I kind of mashed up some boxing clips and some wide receiver hand combat clips, and the response has been really good so far, and I just think it sends a really good message to all the receivers and receivers coaches, and I hope that it provides a lot of value. So make sure if you're listening to this or watching this, you go onto Instagram or Twitter and check that video out. Like I mentioned, it's playoff time. We got this first round bye, kind of got an opportunity to collect our breath, chill out for a week, slowly build up to what's going to be, a heck of a run and going to take, every ounce of effort we have as players and coaches. But I think the real message for all of us as a program is we just need to have an increased sense of urgency, an increased focus, an increased attention to detail. Because right now, we can't have any complacency, because right now one slip up could cost us the whole season. It's not like week 3 when it might be a big game, but hey, if we lose to Bergen Catholic, chances are we'll see them again in the playoffs. It's not like week 7 where, we just got to be playing our best football by the end of the year. It is the end of the year. This is go time now. It's nut cutting time, as I saw one New Jersey coach put on Twitter. But it really is. I think that needs to be reflected in practice. I think that it needs to start with me as a coach. I need to do a better job of harping on every single detail and going absolutely crazy whenever we're not paying attention to detail and we're not super focused on the task at hand. Because if we have one missed block or one drop ball or one mental error during the game, that could cost us the game. And right now, we've lost to Bergen Catholic by a point. We lost to St. Peter's by 3 points in overtime. So, right now, like a huge difference in our season has come down to 4 points. For us to make up those 4 points, it starts with execution, it starts with discipline. And again, like I said, that starts in practice. And we need to start taking that personally in practice and playing in a way today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that reflects our increased sense of focus. And we need to show that we understand as a young team, even a young coaching staff. We have a very, very young coaching staff. As a bunch of young guys just trying to work through this together, we need to show that we have each other's backs and we understand what this run is going to take, and come in with the best focus day we could possibly have today and let that carry forward and continue to build. We can't think that this is a week off, we're on vacation, and we're going to chill out until Monday and then get it going on Monday. We can't have that. We don't have to kill ourselves today. We don't have to hit each other really hard. We don't have to run our legs into the ground. It doesn't have to be any of that, but our focus mentally, the pride we're taking in our details, the pride we're taking in fixing, the little mistakes in our craft, that needs to be top notch. That needs to be through the roof. And that will reflect in this playoff run we're about to make. If we don't pay attention to detail, we don't have pride in getting the little things fixed that we need to in each of our games, then we're going to end up losing a game by 1 point or 2 points again. That's just the way football works. Right now, we've lost 2 games because we were not disciplined enough and we did not execute well enough down the stretch. So how are we going to fix that? It's not just going to happen by us showing up again at these places and expecting to get a different result against opponents that beat us in close games. So I think it's cool. It's very cool how familiar everyone is in this tournament, how much film we've seen of every opponent, how much film they've seen of us, how much the kids know each other, how much fellow coaches know each other. It's a really cool rivalry amongst everybody in the state tournament. But again, we do feel like we are, one of, if not the best team here, and we can win every game. But I'm trying to break down to the kids what this is going to take. And it starts with our sense of urgency and our attention to detail. And I hope that it doesn't take much from me to get that out of the kids. I would like to think that we're not going to need a rah-rah speech. And I'm not even going to need to give this speech necessarily for them to understand how important it is that we get all these little details fixed. But that's really where we're at. And I'm very excited for this challenge. For me as a competitor, this brings out the best of me, which I'm sure, a lot of people would say, but I'm certainly fired up to, outcompete everybody. I remember talking to Anthony Campanelli about, just the competitiveness. I'm like, hey, what happens when it's not the most competitive environment? I feel like I'm letting the team down because I can't get everyone out of that. And he was like, it's not your job. You're the wide receivers coach. It's not your job to create a competitive environment. It's everybody's job. It's the player's job. It's the head coach's job. It's the assistant coach's job to create a competitive environment. And then once that environment is established, it is your job as a position coach to be the most competitive guy in that environment and to outcompete everybody else with your energy, your effort, and your attention to detail. And I think that's what we're getting now. Now, nothing is more competitive than a win or go home scenario, which is where we find ourselves now, obviously, in the playoffs. So I'm hoping myself that I can raise my game and really outcoach everybody on our team. Not to say that like I'm better than them or anything like that, but that's the kind of mentality. I want to outcoach every other coach on our team. I want to get my kids to play harder than every position group on our team during this bye week and kind of set the tone for the team that way. That's kind of the mentality I'm going into this bye week with and going into these playoffs with is let me look at our position as receivers and let me bring the most effort and the most energy into my room and hope that becomes contagious to the rest of the team and that we are leading the pack as far as how hard we're working and how hard we're trying to improve ourselves during this kind of off period we have before the playoffs really start. So that's all I got. Just really trying to break down that playoff mentality for you guys and really excited about the challenges ahead and this run we're about to go on. Today's the first day of what's got to be some really focused and crisp practices going forward. So that's all I got. Coach Liebs, episode 36 of Coach Talk on a Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.